eyes and that grin.
What about Tina Turner?
Tina's just Tina. I mean, what can you say about Tina that hasn't been said? Nothing. She was, again, on the ball, on the money, and you couldn't have got a better acid queen. Energy. Ooh.
Yeah, we talked to Pete last week about his original idea for the acid queen, which, you know, he threw in Lou Reed as a possible, and also Tiny Tim as Pinball Wizard. I mean, but I think even he realises that it wouldn't have worked out.
No, I don't. Well, it would have been interesting. Tiny Tim as the Pinball Wizard.
Yeah, he's often said he heard it with 100 ukuleles.
Oh well. Thank God it didn't happen.
You seem to have gone through a lot of pain making the movie, lots of cuts and burns. How physically demanding was it?
It was very. It was incredibly demanding physically. Loads of things. I mean, mostly because I wasn't wearing any clothes most of the time. I mean, I did hang gliding with just a pair of jeans on. I must have been mad. Not that a crash helmet would do you any good from 400 feet, but landing in a field of thistles with no shoes on wasn't much fun, I'll tell you.
And you did all the stunts yourself on it?
Well, I didn't. The only thing I didn't do was the leap off the tower with a hang glider. I hadn't done any hang gliding at that time. I only did it at the end of the film. They wouldn't let me go up. I would have done it, but I mean, they wouldn't let me do it because of the insurance. And as it turned out, I could see why. Because my second time up, I mean, the first time they kind of take you up about 5 feet, they put you very low down on this hill, so you just run along, and it just lifts your feet off the ground. They just do it to see whether you kind of have an aptitude for it. Well, the second time, they said, well, we'll put you a bit further up the hill. They put me 10 feet up the hill, expecting me to come off the ground at about sort of 10 feet, which you can survive, yeah? And I caught an updraft, and the next thing I know, I was 300 foot in the air, thinking, what do I do now? So it was just suck it and see, and I touched wood, I was all right.
Then, of course, you also had the hardship of having Anne Margaret playing your mother.
That was incredibly difficult. So anybody who tells me it wasn't acting, you've just got to think about that. Having Anne Margaret as your mother when you're a very hot-blooded, testosterone rock singer of 29 years old, it was a very tall order. Going to work every day and looking at her every day as mum. And I thought, I kept having to remind myself, you're deaf, dumb and blind, you twat. Put it out of your brain.
The heavy workload of the film seemed to have had a particular effect on Pete Townsend, and he's already said that it affected his relationship within The Who. Did you feel the movie had any detrimental effects on the band?
I don't know whether it affected his... I don't know whether it was that the movie did it. I think it was just a lack of communication. We were never informed. You know, and it's always... Everything that appears to be a detriment to relationships is usually just lack of communication. We were never informed that Pete was going to be doing this and we were going to be doing that, and we were going to have to be sitting on our asses for 9 months of the year, which was difficult at the time. But I don't think ultimately it soured any relationships, no. I think it soured his relationship because he got very heavily involved in boozing. I think that's where it really started to kick in big time. Understandably, he was under a lot of pressure. And of course, I mean, thinking back on it, I mean, at the time we were very grandiose, and it was being done in quadraphonic sound, which had to make life difficult for yourself.
You won a New Star of the Year award for the movie, an award that had previously been won by Paul Newman.
Did I?
Yeah, the ABC Interstate Theatre.
Oh, really?
In the States, yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's an award won by Paul Newman and Steve McQueen, amongst others. How did that feel?
Well, I don't even remember what it is. Oh, well, it must have felt all right. I suppose it did. I'm sure it did. I mean, it is nice to get awards. I can't say it isn't. I'm sure no one goes out to do their work just to win an award, but it's nice that people notice you and you've done good work.
What are your favourite memories from filming the movie?
Favourite memories from the movie? A couple of days with Elton John. That was good. That was good fun. We went to a boys' club one night after shooting. That was good fun. And a snooker with a load of kids, a load of yobs from Portsmouth. Other things. Introduction to the Lake District, which was beautiful, and learnt to hang glide. Loads of other memories, which I remain quiet about. And introduction to the film world, which to this day I just absolutely adore. I mean, I just love the whole genre.
What was your view of the movie when you first saw it finished?
I thought it was really good until I came in. That's true. I really did. I just thought, oh God, Daltrey, you've screwed this one up.
Why?
I just found it. I still do. I mean, I don't know many actors that like watching themselves and can be objective about it. I mean, I think they do it more today. I mean, it's a bit like singers that like their own voice. I don't know many that do. I still hate my voice today. I mean, I hear it, oh God. But pretty difficult to be objective about it.
And what about today, 30 years on from making it? How do you view it now?
I haven't seen it for a while. I just great fondness. I mean, it was amazing, really, that we ever got it made, and I think that's the triumph of this film, that we got it made, and it was a huge success. I mean, you can't. I mean, I don't know what it grossed in the end. I know at the time, I think it was something like $60 million. Well, if you imagine what it cost to go to the cinema then, and it was a limited release. It wasn't a blanket release over every cinema because of the sound systems. I think you could that would be up in the 500, 700, $800 million films today. So I mean, you can only be proud of it. I'd just like to know what happened to the money, because we didn't see a lot of it. Well, I mean, it was Robert Stigwood, so I suppose you expect it. Anyone who lives on a boat, they're doing it for a reason.
You worked with Ken again on Listomania. How was that?
I was so in love with film. I thought, well, God, and Ken Russell's asking me to do another film. I just thought I had to do it, but I needed help. And not knowing anything still about acting. I mean, Tommy was easy for me because it was music. I knew where I was, but God, when I got into Listomania, I thought, God, I'm over my head this time. And I was hoping for Ken to throw me a lifeline, but he's not an actor's director. But I love him. I still love him. I mean, he's a genius, and it just it kind of frustrates me that he's kind of pushed to one side in today's world when he was so far ahead of the whole game and has still got so much to offer. But I suppose that's the price of being a genius. I don't know. I'm just glad I worked with him, and I still love him to this day.
Would you work with Ken Russell again?
Anytime. I work for him for free. I've told him that. He still can't afford me.
You'd have to pay him.
Great.
Yeah. Thanks, Rog.